Travel expenses for Computex 2018 paid for in part by Fractal Design. Yeah, if you haven't seen our coverage of the Fractal Define R6, you gotta check out our videos on the Define R6. We've done a Threadripper build, we've done an i9 build. It's cool, it's quiet, it's competent, it's a really awesome case, and you should check out our videos on that. Travel expenses for Computex also paid in part by Asrock. Yes, Asrock, the mini PCs and graphics cards, and Asrock's just building everything these days. Whether you swing Team Red or Team Blue, Asrock has got something for you, I think. So be sure to check out our coverage of all of their motherboards, everything from IOMMU groups to full UEFI tours, which I know only the people that are basically getting ready to pull the trigger look at those UEFIs. Everybody else doesn't care. So big thanks to Asrock for sponsoring us, and you really should check out our other coverage of Asrock products and our coverage from Computex 2018. Well, it's Computex time, and I'm in Taiwan, and the jet lag for me is brutal. It's 12 time zones different, so it takes me a little while to adjust. And when I got here, I found that my HDMI cable and my USB 3 A to B cable for my AVIO capture device was missing. So apparently I forgot to pack it or did something crazy. So off to Gunghua Digital Plaza. Yeah, I know I've showed you guys that place in the past, in last year's videos. You can check that out. But now I'm a man on a mission, so it's a little different. We're not just wandering around looking for random parts. And what better time to put this place to the test? My travel editing machine for this trip is the new Dell XPS 2-in-1, which has 4 USB Type-C ports. So let's see if we can find a USB Type-C to USB 3B connector, because that's what I can use with my AVIO 4K capture device, because it's got the big, burly USB 3 Type A to Type B connection on the back of it. So that's when I ran into this guy, Kevin from Tech Showdown. Yeah. Hey Kevin, how's it going? See, I'm not damaged goods. I have friends. Anyway, we thought it would be funny to go around to the shops asking if anyone had such a rare cable, USB Type-C to USB 3, Type B. And there's hundreds of small shops in this plaza. But after only about 5 tries, the shopkeep asks me in broken English, do I want straight through or right angle? Well, right angle, of course. So Kevin and I were blown away. You should check out his channel, Tech Showdown, if you haven't seen it before. There's a link in the description for this video. And my first stop after that was the Intel Keynote. Now, I have to say, the Intel Keynote, nothing unexpected was revealed here. Well, except for maybe a couple things that were teased. Unexpected things were revealed, but not anything like super crazy. First off, the rundown, the big announcements. The Intel 8086K is real. It's a 30th anniversary part. So, the original 8086, that's a CPU number from like the 80s, 486, 386, 486. You know what's going on with this. Unlike some of the early engineering samples from Intel, the IHS is not soldered in the final product, looks like. At least they didn't mention it. So it's 4 GHz base and 5 GHz boost right out of the clock. So I think this is the first time Intel's offered a CPU that's just, designed for 5 GHz or designed for hitting 5 GHz boost right out of the box. Asus and Lenovo were also part of the show. They showed off some killer dual screen notebooks and some other, really high-end hardware that looked amazing. Remember the Yoga book with the glass touchscreen keyboard? Their analytics, Lenovo's analytics, said that people actually use that glass keyboard about 75% of the time or 72% of the time, something like that. So they teased a new Yoga ThinkPad and also a Yoga book with dual screens. Yeah, so both sides of the display were dual screens. And Asus had something really similar that was a 3:2 aspect ratio dual screen setup. They looked really, really slick. But I'm getting a little off track here. So Intel also said that AI and managing distractions for the user so that the user could be more productive were their key goals. They made a big point out of it all throughout the presentations, like, AI this and AI that, but that it didn't make any sense. They stopped short of any compelling demo about how they plan to actually address that. It seemed to be, well, hey, we've got the Intel developer program coming up. You should check it out. We're going to get a bunch of developers to join, and they're going to figure it out for us, because we obviously haven't from this presentation. It was kind of surprising. They did show off a virtual AI band thing where the instruments were virtual and the Intel, VPU neural net hardware was what they were using to gather the physical data from the operators. So the guy was playing virtual drums, basically using, like the motion capture infrared camera stuff, and it was very impressive how responsive that was. And so the band demo actually was pretty cool. And Intel also showed off other stuff with visual effects and artistry and all kinds of fun stuff, and so that was really interesting. Now I could see that these kinds of applications could be big for the digital signage industry, for building huge and AI interactive displays. And I say that out loud and it sounds like I'm joking or I'm mocking them or something, but no, interactive displays are huge. Like when somebody can walk up to a sign and kind of interact with it, or if somebody can walk up to a sign and it puts a dress on them and actually does that reasonably well, these kinds of technologies could actually do that. And that stuff is really, really big right now, especially in the advertising industry. So another non-Intel announcement at the keynote was that they're increasing the battery life of notebooks. Not through CPU improvement or some sort of power breakthrough or anything like that. Nope. They demoed a 13-inch Dell XPS with over 25 hours of runtime. The secret? I've got a new display that uses just 1 watt of power. After the Intel keynote, I stopped off at Corsair to say hello and see what they were up to. And Corsair has some new and improved SFX power supplies and the new Vengeance power supplies, which is all Japanese capacitors. I got a demo of some of the new keyboards and headsets and the headset stands and the RGB mouse pads, and the headset stands have built-in, USB hubs and just all sorts of crazy. Corsair is really, they have gone off the deep end, doing a lot of work on their products and taking feedback and improving, and just they're in this cycle of just continuous improvement, trying to build exactly what their customers are asking them for. And so some of these things have some really compelling features. The headsets alone, there's a ton of different configuration options and different configurations that are available, color scheme and stitching, and what kind of ear cups things are there, and wireless or wired headsets. And I know that you're really here. I know that you're really watching this video for the RGB compu porn. So I'll just leave you with that beautiful B-roll and shut up now. Now, one thing they've added to the keyboards this time around, these are Cherry MX switches, of course, and the different keyboards are available with the different color switches, but they've added a rubber membrane to this particular model. So that'll help you with fluid splashes. Now, it's not totally sealed, but it's pretty well sealed. RGB everywhere. Their new control software, though, is really, really complicated, and it's obvious that they've put a lot of work into it. And that's, of course, Windows only, because that goes without saying. But you can control the animation order, the animation delay, orientation. So like if you've got a motherboard that's got, say, memory on opposite sides of the CPU, is the RAM oriented opposite on one side of the CPU, or is the RAM oriented the same way? The software will handle all of that. So all of that complication is handled in the software well. So how you want to animate your internal stuff, you can do it with that software. You can also get your your digital strips or LED strips or whatever you want to call it mixed in there and in control of that. And so they've added a lot of support for that kind of stuff as well. Now check these out. These are mini ATX tower cases. These are brand new, launching right here at Computex. They've got pretty good airflow by the looks of it, and they've got a lot of features, a lot of cool features, even though they're a micro ATX case. It's got more features than I would expect for a micro ATX case, let's put it that way. So I bet these end up being a really popular product. And of course, the Wall O Corsair Cooling. Corsair really knows how to have a party, and that is evidenced by this giant wall of fans, but also because they threw a party the night before. So yeah, I've got so much else to cover. You should really hit the bell and subscribe if you aren't already for more Computex 2018 coverage, along with my colorful commentary. This is Wendell, over and out.